I remember being chastised in a psych ward for talking to a patient that had delusions and kind of letting them get their stuff off. Like they were talking about all types of stuff with me and I wasn't confirming it, but I'm listening to them, giving them the time of day. I'm like, yeah, tell me more about that. You know, letting them explain their world. And one of the supervisors pulled me in to the office and was just like, hey, I understand that you're trying to be friendly and build a good rapport, but it's not helpful to let a patient get deep into their delusions. And I'm thinking like, first off, what they were sharing wasn't even that bad. Second, half the time y'all trying to give this man injections because you're talking about how violent he is. And right now he's just getting his stuff off and he has an outlet. And third, how do you expect to help somebody without listening to exactly where they're at? But I learned very early not to underestimate patients, and the things that they call delusional might end up actually being true. Like the lady that was crying, the FBI is after me, and then all of a sudden, men in black suits come up to the unit, to take her away. And she just looked at us like, I told y'all. Now, I get this question all the time because it's one of my most viral videos is, why didn't y'all do anything? Once y'all saw that them people come up and take her away, FBI, CIA, whatever three-letter agency it was, why didn't anybody stand in her defense? Excuse me, I was making like $12 to $14 an hour to pay my rent and not get involved in these three-letter agencies' business, as if my positioning could make a pebble of a difference. Come on now, y'all gotta use your heads. We civilians out here know your rank. But it was duly noted, and it expanded my mind about what psych wards really are, and it led me to look at the history and see how many people were experimented on and how many disorders that are in our DSM are the result of people being experimented on with high dosages of LSD for the purpose of seeing if the human brain can become a blank slate for mind control. And yes, they did succeed. That was Mkultra. And even though psych wards are quite functional in more extreme cases for patients, especially a homeless population or somebody that is super drug induced, don't have family, you know, those types of individuals are perfect candidates for experimentation. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened to the lady. She ended up, shooting a shotgun across the street into her neighbor's door because she claimed they were spies. But, her being one for one with, whatever three-letter agency being after her, makes me wonder if she would have been 2 for 2 when she was saying that her neighbors were spies. Hence why she shot across the street into their front door and nobody was home. When I looked into the history of psych wards, when I looked into the history of a lot of disorders, I started looking at this system real funny, which is why I think it's important if you're a worker in the psych ward to truly be an advocate, to understand where these places are sourced from. Not that they can't do any good, not that your role isn't impactful, and that this isn't a serious, system that can do things for people. I have people in my DMs all the time that are like, yo, if it wasn't for this medication, if it wasn't for this psych visit, like good things can happen. That's the whole goal of a system, is to have it believable enough to operate all other things. You know what I'm saying? Like to, in a sense, use the good workings of a system as a cloak. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that the whole thing is about, taking advantage of people and experimenting and doing crazy things like that. However, if you think that there aren't multi-purposes for these facilities and that they aren't windows or connections to other things that I probably can't mention on this app, then you are sadly mistaken.